finances. I get a lot of questions of what's going to happen today financially, and we are truly in a mess. So if you follow what's happening daily, you will definitely be on that yo-yo. I will assure you that the system is crashing, the system is falling apart, and there's really no hope for it. It will be just more of a decline. So, you need to just keep preparing and not rely on this Federal Reserve note, because eventually that Federal Reserve note is going to be worthless, and that's proven over history. Anytime they come up with a fiat currency, it does not last. And you don't want to be in a position where you're counting on this to sustain yourself. Now, the way the system's set up, as Americans, we sort of are. You got to make money to pay your bills, to pay taxes. But I'm urging you to get away from that. And that will be more of, can you produce something? So you could trade to someone. If you have chickens, you have eggs. Everyone needs eggs. Or you might be a carpenter. Can you trade skills for something? So start looking at the alternative economy that you can build in your area. And that will be bartering. So people ask me, Dave, what do I put my money in? A lot of people at this point do not have extra money. I talk to them and they're struggling just to pay the mortgage or the rent or their car payment or put gas in the car or take care of daycare. So for a lot of people, they don't have a lot of extra money to throw around. They're just trying to survive.
Something that you know in your heart is wrong. Well, of course, it is wrong. Period. All right? But there's going to be no accountability here. We're hearing echoes of the last meltdown. Everything's going to be fine. Things are going to be contained. Now, Moody's, again, I want to tip my hat to Moody's rating agency, because yesterday they said this issue doesn't look like it can be contained. Okay, this is not going to be contained at all. This is going to spread. It's going to require... Actually, there's no amount of cash that can be pumped into the system that can fix it. All right, there's just no way it can be done here. But they're going to attempt to at least keep it propped up long enough for mergers to take place, a consolidation of the banking system. That's what they are doing, believe me here, okay? And they're going to try to cover it up. They're going to say, okay, with other things. They're going to fill the news airwaves with nonsensical things to keep people distracted, to keep them looking over there when they should be looking over here. The fact of the matter is, there are bank runs going on right here and right now, these regional banks, and the Fed is pumping hundreds of billions to cover withdrawals. You hear Janet Yellen yesterday? Oh, don't worry. We're going to make sure deposits are protected as well as withdrawals. Again, that First Republic Bank rescue, it was never a rescue. It was sold to the people as a rescue. All it was a plan to cover withdrawals as there was a run on the bank. And now we're seeing the spread to the larger institutions here. It's, again, look, no surprise to you, no surprise to me, or anyone else who follows this blog. Look at the titles of my videos a few days or a week prior to when this whole thing came to light with SVB Bank, and now that this thing is spreading. I said there was a systemic meltdown taking place, and that's exactly what's going on. This banking issue is systemic. It's built in, and it is going to get worse. And this is, again, not something that you and I missed. We knew this from at least 8 months ago. No deposits, no loans, and no deals. Anyway, on the economic front here this morning, durable goods orders continue to fall. Now, on the back of this issue with contagion now clearly spreading, stock futures are lower. Dow futures, last time I looked at them, were down by about 300 points. But again, that's not really what you want to be looking at. It's this incredible action in the debt market, enormous amounts of effort going in to keep rates low, buying more debt here to try to foster some kind of sense of stability for which there is none. The entire system is insolvent. The entire system is bankrupt. The entire system is toxic. And it's coming down by design to consolidate power. Period. That's what this is all about, and the effort that is going in to of being floated out through the mainstream to try to assure people that everything is fine. They can't tell people the truth. Imagine, for example, I don't know, Janet Yellen, Powell thing, some other freak would come out here and say, hey, we got a real problem in the banking system. It would just, people would be running to these institutions to withdraw their cash. To put it where? Into one of these big banks, which is in the same boat as the smaller institutions. This guy has been explaining to you for how many years? Get your cash out of these institutions, only keep what you need in there. The rest of it tuck away somewhere, under your mattress, bury it in your yard, I don't know, something along those lines here. This thing is going to get much, much worse, people. I just want all of you to be ready for this. So on the back of stock futures being lower, on the back of the 10-year yield getting plummeting here, on the back of the relative strength of the dollar stronger, the MMRI did come down. It did come down as we would expect here. Now, it still remains in a high-risk zone. Look, this market, who knows what they're going to do. The Fed has a trading desk, and they buy large-cap stocks to prop it up. This is called the plunge protection team. It's a real entity. Look it up for yourself. The Fed has a trading desk. They don't frolic in front of it. They don't have parties in front of it, which they might, but they buy the market, okay? Central banks buy the market to prop it up. That's what they're trying to do to foster that illusion here of something that people's money is safe in here. But no, look, this thing is coming down, and we're going to get a rebound effect in this debt market that people aren't going to believe at one particular time. And this may be the beginning of it here, watching them come to 10-year yield down, then all of a sudden, boom! Don't be surprised to see a massive snapback here, because this is going to take everybody by surprise, except for you and I, because you and I realize where we're going, how this is set up, and what is going on. We know what the end game is. We know what the goals are of central banks, to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. Why do you think that they're right now involved in probably the biggest currency swaps that we've ever seen in history? Central banks are swapping currencies with each other. The Federal Reserve continues to dollarize central banks around the world here. Why do you think this is happening? Because this is a really great environment, because it's very liquid. As the Fed continues to pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the system, and you haven't seen anything yet, it's going to be in the trillions, and it won't matter. It's not going to be enough. We don't have any idea of the liabilities on these institutions' books, especially the mega banks. It's in the trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions. And then you want to add in derivatives, it's in the quadrillions, okay? The system has become too toxic. We are hitting that moment of maximum saturation that I have coined. That's my term. If anyone else is using it, it's mine, okay? I heard a couple of people are using it. From you guys and girls, oh, Greg, this guy or this girl, and they're allowed to use it. I want people to use those terms, but again, what does it mean? It means when the system becomes so toxic and so overloaded with debt that we start to see this meltdown here. But again, don't lose sight of the fact that this is all deliberate to consolidate the banking system and to, again, bring about the largest transfer of wealth that has ever been seen in the history of the world. Forget about what happened last time. That was nothing compared to what we're seeing right now unfold, and this is going to get wild, people, wild. What else I want to talk? With the hundreds of billions, soon to be trillions of dollars pumped into a dying zombie system, who's going to pay for all this? You are. I am. In the form of surging inflation. And look, the game, the lie, this epic falsehood that has been forced upon the people of the world. Those central banks are raising rates. They're raising rates. Because they want to control inflation? No, because they want to make credit less available to the regular guy and regular girl and crush them under surging inflation, food inflation at a 45-year high, rising at its fastest pace in 45 freaking years. It's not just this issue with the banks here. It's systemic. It's involving smaller, mom and pop shops that are being erased to fulfill the corporate agenda. Don't you see what I'm talking about? Speaking of the corporate agenda, I watched a show yesterday, a documentary called Dog Fooled. No, they took.
I got rid of an investment. I got $20,000. I got $40,000. What do I do with it? And that's a good problem to have. And people have that problem because they're reshuffling their finances because they see that this little thing one day is going to be worth it. One day you could use it for toilet paper. One day you could use it to start a fire in your fireplace. I honestly, truly believe that. But until that point, we got to make these so we can set ourselves up for success and make sure we're all prepared. So let's talk about gold. I borrowed this from a friend. I have no gold, so it's what I'm doing. For you, you might have the available cash and thinking, hey, I need to put it in the gold. I'm a silver guy. The only reason I have silver is to protect some of my wealth, but really it is to pay my property taxes for many years. That way, if the economy gets really bad and I don't have these to go give the tax man, I can take some of the silver, try to find someone that would like it, which I probably will have no problem doing, sell that silver, get some Federal Reserve notes, and go pay my taxes. That's the main purpose I have to have silver. I don't have any gold. I borrowed that from a buddy. I'm a little nervous, though, having that. Luckily, he trusts me to death. But that is 1 ounce of gold. So it's worth, what, a little less than $2,000. Let's just say $2,000. This I borrowed. Unbelievable. I couldn't bug out with these things. So don't think of buying it. 100 ounce of silver. It's like, what is it? Over 5 pounds. 5.5 pounds, roughly. That thing is heavy. So it's, let's just say, $26 an ounce. I don't know what it is this morning. So that's like $2,600. This is like $2,000. So if you're knowing you're going to have to bug out, you're in the city or the suburbs, don't buy a bunch of these. They're way too heavy. You can't. You might want to go with the gold. The problem with the gold is you need like $2,000 right away to buy one of these. So my recommendation is to buy 1 ounce silver. These are the Silver Liberties. I love them because every year the new one comes out, they change the date. My dad gives all of us, well, more now it's just the grandkids, but he used to give us, like on birthdays or Christmas, silver. So that builds up after a while. So maybe start that as a tradition in your family, giving the little guys and gals a piece of silver. That way they'll start building their true wealth. So this is what I recommend to people. The reason is it's so ornate, it's very hard to fake this and get a counterfeit. This big old bar, you gotta buy them from a reputable business. They are stamped, but still, this is a lot easier to fake the funk, and you buy a counterfeit or maybe a silver plated. I'm not a silver expert, but be very careful when you buy a big old chunk, and it's just heavy. I would be glad to give this thing back to him. So this is what I recommend. Now, I also recommend, this is 64 quarter. This is change in the old days. A lot of you guys, people had silver in your pockets and you carried them around and you spent it. This is what we call junk silver. And the value is the value of the silver inside it. Now, they're not all 100% silver, but you can see what they are. If you go from dimes and quarters, you can tell how much silver. So that's junk silver. So I recommend having some junk silver because if the economy turns bad and there's an alternative economy, we'll probably go back to this. And this is what you use to buy, a pound of meat, a chicken, a pound of nails. This is what you need. You need junk silver. This could work, but it has such a value where you might need a few chickens to make the deal work out. This, you're not going to use this. This is to say, hey, you want to purchase a tractor from someone, or you want to purchase an acre of land from someone. Big chunks of gold or big chunks of silver can buy those things. This is not for everyday going down and trying to find some food. It would be junk silver or maybe 1 ounce silver. This is a 10 ounce bar. So, this is something that you could maybe in the future buy a rifle or buy some ammo, something in $300, $400, $500 value. This is something that would work out for that. So